to wear every single denim cotton that you're closed with. You're closed with.
Mind, body, and soul. Was a plan when you have no goal. Was a dream when your gray matter really takes toll. Like a feet when your shoes when you have no soles. Rocks the gold, riches no soul. Yeah, told myself that I get better. Yeah, told myself if I keep raining, I get
Hey,
better.
welcome to Kindred Conversations, Living Black in Lowell. I'm Maritza, this is Masada, and this is our guest, Renay.
Good morning, Lowell.
So welcome to Kindred Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're talking about living black in Lowell and good things happening. And obviously, Mill City Barbecue and Brew is one of the best things happening.
Yeah.
So,
tell us about what inspired you to open a store in Lowell, a restaurant.
Well, first of all, I'm from Lowell. I grew up in Lowell. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina about 20 years ago. And in the South, the black community is a little different than it is in Lowell, because in the South is where I think black people feel a little more inspired, entitled, comfortable.
Right.
Lowell could be a hard pill to swallow as far as being a black owner in the Lowell community, only because we don't have many.
Right.
We got a couple of international businesses, which is the African businesses, but there's no solid, really black businesses. In the South, there's black businesses on every corner. So it's a different inspiration.
Right.
That is one of the things that absolutely inspired me, is coming back here. Let me start by saying Lowell is absolutely one of my favorite places in the world. I am a true believer in Lowell. I grew up in Lowell. My best memories in Lowell are my family, and my best friends in the world are here. Your parents.
Right.
Like, I think of your dad and I think of my childhood. So, and I think that's why when I see you and your sister, I'm always like,
Always love that.
really is. But on another note, that was something that, trying to come back home and do something that they've been doing in the South, I guess, for many years, because the same way a few businesses are here, I got a couple of friends that own a couple of businesses out here, and they've been around 30 years. Santoro's been around 40 years, and I grew up Espresso's Pizza, Friends Bar and Grill. They started on Lawrence Street. Now they're on Market Street.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I like
they've
them,
been
though.
around 30 years too.
Yeah, I really like them.
And that's something that I would always, every year I would come back here and say, wow, if you guys had maybe a black business, it would get the ball rolling for other black communities or black families to come out here and say, hey, we can do it, instead of being discouraged. Because when you go to a town and you drive down the street and you don't see that, it makes you more discouraged. You're like, oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
There's no one who's done it before.
Exactly.
The good thing about businesses is if you got a good product, good community service, good followings, well, the most important thing is to have your revenue right. Have your finances right.
Yes.
Your paperwork right. Then it's really not as big of a deal. It's not really just about being black. It honestly is having a good product that people don't mind coming to.
Right.
We didn't have barbecue here. It was well needed. The most thing that I would definitely come back here and say is, number one, there's no black businesses. That was very discouraging. So once again, going back to, I had to make sure that my finances was right.
Right.
Because a lot of times people get past the talking. You either be about it or you're not about it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So I've always said that to my kids, is either two ways of living life. You either with it or you're not. You either going to college or you're not.
Right.
You're either going to be a good kid or you're not. You're going to study or you're not. So there's always a if and if not question. Was a black business needed here in Lowell? Yeah. A lot of maybe black families or people a little leery about it. Yeah, because it's scary. It's scary to know that you put your life savings into something and you might not get the response back. One thing I say all the time, they don't say it no more, but people used to say all the time is, oh, black people don't really come up in here and eat. And I say, it's the best joke. I think I said it to you.
Yeah.
Because they cook this food. Who wants to go somewhere where they're cooking the same food Sunday?
I go to.
Yeah.
You do. You're so sweet. You get the same thing every time. Watch out, Vaughn. Vaughn's good too.
I cannot. Don't give me a woman.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with us not supporting each other. Because I tell you what, there are more people here proud of me than you will be surprised. Just parking down the street and parking my car, and I see a friend of mine, Timmy. Hey, Renay, what's going on? Hey, Timmy, I'm so proud of you.
Right.
I ain't seen him in 2 years. So I don't look at it as us not supporting each other, because I am well supported here, more by the black community, because they were the ones who believed in me. They were the ones who was like, girl, you go, girl. You do that, and we're happy, and we're supportive of it. Everybody don't eat certain foods. I do cook, I won't say, I cook an ethnic menu. You know, we got the mac and cheese, we got the collard greens, we got the fried chicken, potato salad. These are things that I actually grew up on, eating at my own house. You know, we had an Easter dinner, and I swear I didn't eat. Everybody's like, why are you not eating? Why are you not eating? I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, I cook collard greens every day. I don't want any.
I don't need that.
I don't need that. I don't need. So, I tell you what, being black in Lowell has its advantages and has its disadvantages. It's like going to any other community, any other state, any other city. You just have to have your situation in order. You know, it starts with your finances, and then it starts with your background, of course. And I haven't always had a good background. I mean, that's another thing growing up in Lowell, is everyone knows you. Everyone knows your struggle and your past. And so there are barriers black people in Lowell have to break. And it's only because back in the day, we were known to just be the ones to either get in trouble, live in a project, grow up in Shaughnessy, basically not having those advantages of my friends had. My best friend went to Catholic school every day. And then, you know, here I am, you know, coming out of Bishop Markham. So it was a different advantage for what people thought we can do from what we couldn't do. So I always say, you know, keep your finances right. Keep your paperwork in order. If you can get past the qualifications of anything, you can break any barrier. People are not looking at your skin color anymore. They're definitely looking at is what can you qualify to do? What are you qualified to do? And so being black in Lowell has definitely been more rewarding for someone like me. I have no problems getting through. City Hall, love y'all, always stood by me. The mayor eats there all the time. My friends, you know, I've never given anything outside of a simple show, and not only one of my friends come, but 100 of them come. The food is really good, so I can say that. We put our hearts and soul, and that's the thing about black cooking, is it comes from the heart. You know, it's not as basically as bougie and it's as expensive as a lot of foods are going out to eat today. It's very expensive to go out to eat today. So I pry on getting your money's worth. You know, like in the South where you get them big plates of food. You're full when you leave the table. Nowadays, you don't really get that in a lot of restaurants because people are not so much into the food part of it. It's everything else that goes with it. So I can honestly say that it's been very rewarding here for me because the food was needed. Barbecue was definitely needed here. And I just think, you know, starting out, and hopefully people are following right in my footsteps. Hopefully I've given and inspired enough people to say, especially me, if she can do it, I can do it too. So basically that's it. That's my story.
How does Lowell differ from like 30 years ago or 20 years ago when you were, like, especially with the black community, like living in Bishop Markham and Shaughnessy and then moving?
So I would say the difference now is that back then we was hindered to only do that. And that's what it is. It's back then. And that's all it is to me, is back then. 30 years ago, you know, the only black families that too much were around were you were either in Shaughnessy Terrace, or you was in Bishop Markham, or you was in North Carmen. Nowadays, I mean, we basically doing what anybody else is doing. You know, we own homes, we own businesses, we drive nice cars. We have, more of my friends grew up here, have their children who are actually college educated. Lowell is my most, I tell my kids that all the time. Don't let Lowell fool you. A lot of good kids come out of Lowell. Speaking of Vaughn kids, you know, when I look back the way, the things we did back in the day, and then I look at you guys today, and I'm like, wow, you know, I tell them, your parents all the time, you must be really proud of your kids, and it's only because of the things we did back then.
Right.
So now, it's, you know, there are more, how can I put it? There are more for us to take more of a positive road, especially education. You can get some really good education out of Lowell. So the difference between now, back then we didn't feel like we had a chance back then. Nowadays, I think we feel not so much as entitled. I shouldn't say entitled. Empowered. That's an even better word. I think now we feel empowered. We can do it too. And I always say it definitely goes back to your qualifications.
Right.
You know, you go in a bank, you want to buy a home, you got your situation right, your paperwork right. They're not going to not sell you the home because you're black. You know, your family is homeowners.
Right.
So they know exactly what I'm talking about. When you go sit down in City Hall and you're trying to apply for a liquor license, and the first thing they ask you is, do you have your finances in order? Because liquor license costs. So if you can get past that, then now is the paperwork. Because the check is the first thing.
Right.
And the paperwork is second. Most people don't put themselves in a situation today, especially black people, that they can't do. Because we don't like being told no.
Right.
Being told no was back in the 60s and the 50s. You know, nowadays we want to do what anybody else can qualify to do, because it always goes back to that. So I say now it's easier to live in our community as a black community than it was back then. And I could say that I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people following in my footsteps. I am in 2018 maybe the only black business, but I bet you by 2025, I'll be way down the line.
That is the hope,
Right, exactly.
That's definitely the hope. I tell my children, I inspire them all the time to be, you know, I have a son that's an artist, and that used to be his punishment. And now when I look at his art, I'm like, you know, I used to get so mad at his art. You know, you drew it since he was 10 years old. All he ever did was draw, whether it was a napkin or... Didn't matter. He was always drawing. You know, I would get the letters from school. Oh, he's a great kid. He listens. He has manners. But he draws too much. So his punishment would be, give me that pad and that pencil. Right, when you're not doing your work. Now, I say, hey, go for the stars. I tell him all the time, you do as many shows. I don't care if he doesn't make $1. If that's what you're inspired to do, and that's your motivation, and that's your passion, you shoot for it. Because one thing I do know, you can do anything you want to do. I didn't go into this business not to make money. I had full-on expectations of doing what everybody else does right in my community. So just like Obama, you put your mind to it, you can do. Black people can just do just about anything they want to do today. Those is back in the day where we were hindered to even think that we can do certain things like that. My friends told me for years, oh, it'll never work. They're never going to give you a liquor license. They're never going to give you a business. It's not. Well, 10 years later, I'm no different than the next person sitting in there. I might be the only black person sitting in there trying to do an application for different things, but I'm by far not the only person with the ambition or the dream, you know? Nowadays, I don't think people give two craps about how the color of your skin. I think this is a different age and a different time now. I know know for me, I have 3 different colored children. You know, I have a child that is white, and I have a child that's Jamaican, I have a child that's American. And their 3 advantages is no different than the other ones. I know that for a fact, that they're my children and they're grown.
Right.
I don't think the white one has no more advantage than the black one. I have one as dark as that pole right there. I think he's the luckiest one. No, well, he is. He's the luckiest one with the girls, with everything. So, I definitely didn't raise my kids to think that the color of their skin was going to be any different to do the things that you want to do in life. You just got to have the dream, the ambition, the strive, the drive, the energy. All that comes along with being black. That's just what people say. When you go sit in a city hall or a business office or a bank or something, I don't think they say, well, don't give it to her because she's black. I think they say, let's check that paperwork out and make sure that, you know, she has her qualifications in order, and then we'll go from there. So I too say now we definitely have more advantages now than we've ever did before. And I definitely want kids and teenagers and young adults to definitely feel inspired to do exactly what I've done. And then hopefully I can look back when I'm a little older, definitely old now, but older, and I can really be proud of what I started to do, because I know people told me I couldn't do it. And I'm going on my 2nd year, and I still got the lights on.
Good for you.
You know, so it's definitely something I'm proud of. I don't think I've been here one day and I said, oh, why did I do that? I don't think so. So, yeah, dreams. Keep dreaming.
So I think that's like the overarching message, right? It's like dream, persistence, and plan,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like I think the planning is the major key, so that you have major key.
Yeah.
You make sure that you have the finances and play and all the things that are necessary. So the planning is important.
And very important, very important.
Did you have any mentors or anybody to help you? Like, did you just know, all right, I'm going to open this business, this is what I need to do? Did anybody help you out with that?
The community helped me out with that. It goes back to saying that, you know, when one of your own comes out the bucket and they do something a little different than what anybody else is doing, you're gonna have your supporters, you're gonna have your non-supporters. Mentors, if I would take up all my time naming all my mentors here in Lowell, because I'm a big fan of Lowell, and I'm a big fan of my friends. So I feel like there wasn't one person that did not come to me in construction, through my city hall process, my liquor license, who, your father's one of them, you know, whatever you need. Just, if anything I can do to help your process along the way, let me know. So my mentors are just from people growing up with the disadvantages that I feel like we started out with in Lowell to where we are now. My mentors is when I look at people and say, really, you're doing that? Yeah, yeah, my kids are doing this and this is what I'm doing. And that's mentoring for me.
Right.
I kind of left home at an early age, and I did a lot of traveling. So I don't know if I had that one solid mentor. I think my mentor is just life, and then trying to follow in the footsteps is the same people that I grew up around, who I would have thought, there's no way you can do that. And now I look back and say, wow, you did that? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Or I can do the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess, you know, just growing up around my friends and family here in Lowell is always mentored me. It's just watching positive people do positive things that I'm so proud of. Because I grew up in Lowell in the 70s, and it was a little rough out here. I remember we couldn't even walk down the street as one. We all had to walk in a pack, because just walking down the streets of Lowell was tough, you know? It just always felt like, you know, growing up in Brooklyn and then coming to Lowell, it was a different scenery. I'm like, you know, you can't walk down the street because, you know, people wasn't always as nice as they are for us now.
Right.
And so now I look back and black people walk proud and strong down the street like, what? Who are you talking to? So, mentoring in Lowell, period. Lowell has mentored me. And then growing up in a city where we have just talked about there were so many disadvantages to now 2018, it's nothing we can't do. We just had a black president, so I know that was just very inspiring to people all over the world, especially for me, because I was just going into business at that time.
Right.
And just looking at that inspired me. I won't say Obama inspired me. I just think the whole, okay, let's get out there and do what we need to do to make our black community stronger.
The representation.
Right, exactly. So, yeah.
I think your story is inspiring, and I think like having you on our show is definitely you're gonna have people, looking at you like, wow, she's a woman. She's a black person who owns her own business in Lowell, and like you said, coming from that time in the 70s where things were not so great, even just in general for people, but then being black in Lowell in the 70s and how different it is now, I think that you're an inspiration. You're a role model.
Yeah, I don't look at myself
Just
like
own
that.
it. Just own
But
it.
I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. I'm one of those people. I've always been more giving to life than. Let me give you the compliment. Let me give you the compliment. I don't need it. I know that already. But yeah, I hope so. That's one thing that I try to, and that's why I make sure I do every TV show, newspaper, article. Anything I can get the word out there. And just like you ladies said, it's not always about the money. Been in a lifestyle for many years. I definitely know how to go out and make money.
Right.
But my thing is really a little more inspiring, a little more deeper than just the money. It's sometimes good to know that if there's two people that I can get out of Lowell to even feel like I felt, then I know I've done my job 10 years from now. When I look back and I see different businesses and I say, wow, see, I knew we can do it. And we're a little back in time. It's already 2018. I like being known as being one of the only black businesses out here, but I'd like it a lot more if there was about 10 or 20 of us
Right.
around. That would be inspiring for me.
Yes.
Now I know I broke a barrier.
Right.
Yeah. But you laid that groundwork so that in about 10 years,
Yeah, I say that all the
hopefully,
time. Yeah.
Like you said earlier. Yeah, I would love to see 2025 black-owned businesses all up and down.
All up and down Lowell. It's in every city. They say it was impossible to do what they've done in the South, but Black South, that's what they call it, the Black South. And Atlanta, here we can name on one hand how many black homeowners it is. You go to Atlanta, every neighborhood.
Right.
It's nothing to have a black family, black family, black family.
But there's also tons of them there. Like here we have, our numbers are a little lower. We can still be just as mighty. Which I think is what we want, is to like bring in the unity part. And I think that at the restaurant, you guys do a good job of creating that unity and making everyone feel welcomed. I think that's like, I've never felt more like welcome before. When I walk in, it's just Masada! Like I feel so like special. Like, and I think that you guys do that not just with me, but with everyone that comes in.
Y'all don't know my name, but I always feel like,
I think it really is like good old Southern treatment. And I feel like us, in black families, whether you come from the South or, up north, I just feel like we've always been welcoming people. The love spreads really thick in black people, period. Now, I know we got our evil ones, but I've always felt very loved in Lowell. I will tell you that. I've always felt very loved in Lowell, and that's why I came back. And that's why I'm proud, to this day, I'm proud to be here. I can't tell you how proud I am to even be in a position I am in today. So I thank you guys. I thank everybody for believing in me and like just really kind of wishing the best. Because when you wish the best for somebody, the best comes out of it. So I definitely appreciate Lowell and what Lowell has basically done for me as a black woman, but as just a woman.
But but wait, because on your shirt it says Sweet Room. Can you tell the folks about that?
Sweet Room. So the Sweet Room is another venture I started where after you finish your meal, we give you a menu. It's called a Sweet Room. And we have 12 different desserts to choose from. We also have a Friday night barbecue we'll be doing during the summer, starting tomorrow, where we take the barbecue outside after 7.
Oh.
So from 7 to 10 at night, all the barbecue will be outside, got a little music going, and something to do in the
And you guys are having an anniversary?
Second year anniversary is actually the end of July. I haven't posted yet, but I will be posting our second year anniversary, which is another great. We do a pig roast hosted by Reggie Knight. Everyone loves his pig roast. And we also have performances. We do about 6 or 7 acts. We have a stage built. We have cotton candy, popcorn, snow cones, free for the kids, finger painting, all kind of prizes, raffles, and that's it.
Wow.
So we should follow you on Facebook.
Definitely follow me on Facebook. Follow my email address is millcitybarbecueandbrew.com, and then Facebook, Mill City Barbecue and Brew.
Wow. Well, Renay, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the community, and also for making that delicious food.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming. Thanks for agreeing.
And thank all of you for tuning in to Kindred Conversations.